Yes, dear colleagues, thank you for those who are attending here in the conference hall of BA School of Business and Finance, and we have people also online. And now we are having really great 40 minutes for have a really high quality discussion. And we're going to talk about European level education, research and development within the project experiences. And of course, we're going to talk about and discuss with experts involved about the challenges and benefits of project implementation. And our special guests today are Nelda Mikano from State Education Development Agency called VIA in Latvian. She's a senior expert. Nelda, hello. We're really great to see you here. Applause, please, for all the guests here today. Associated Professor Luisa Cagica Carvalho, Vice President of Polytechnic Institute of Setúbal from Portugal, also online. Yes. And of course, professors from BA School of Business and Finance, starting with online, Professor Dzintra Atstāja. Hello, Dzintra.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yes, we see you. Thank you. And Professor Inese Mavļutova, she's also taking part of Kabada project and here in our conference hall. Yeah. And Professor Tatiana Volkova. Hello, we're all discussants here and we can start the discussion. If you'll have some questions, you can leave for the end of this session and let's give the experts some content to talk about. And first question is going to be addressed for Nelda. And we wanted to ask about how are the outcomes of Erasmus plus KA2 cooperation program projects are actually evaluated, and how can you comment what is the general motivation for applying for such enormous and high-level impact projects? So Nelda, can you please comment on this?
Yes, firstly, I would like to say thank you for this invitation and possibility to participate in this conference. And secondly, before I answer to this question, I would like to shortly a little bit introduce with our agency. This agency directly is working in the education field, but in the close cooperation with European Union, we bring the Erasmus Plus program as close as possible to the participants. So most of you know us as Latvia Erasmus Plus National Agency. So now to the answer. Key Action 2 offers several types of cooperation partnership activities. There is a decentralized and centralized activities. Our agency is responsible for these decentralized activities, such as in previous program called strategic partnerships, but in the new period it's called partnerships for cooperation. And the European Commission is responsible for these centralized activities, for example, partnerships for excellence, for innovations, and alliances for innovation. So all of projects after their implementation are qualitatively evaluated. So that means that there is an expert who performs the qualitative assessment by award criteria and decides, is this a good practice and a success story? There is no comparison between projects because each of them is unique, different in size and scope, and of course project outcomes too. All of them is unique, different, and there is very hard to compare these projects to each other. So if we talk about project results, these outcomes, the outcomes of Erasmus Plus are available in reports and compendia of statistic, as well as through our Erasmus Plus project platform. This includes most of the initiatives funded by the program and selections of good practices and success stories. So using this platform, there's a possibility to find these all of good Erasmus Plus project examples in your field. For example, in the higher education, explore projects with exceptional outcomes and the stories, and find the inspiration for maybe new project ideas and even a new potential contacts and future cooperations. So all of outcomes, of course, is very important. All of national agencies is looking for new ideas, how to make maybe new this applicant projects with a unique outcomes. But if we look on the Latvian level, how I said before, we can't compare this project because all of them is unique. So this is an answer to this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for also briefing about information for those who are not familiar for such level projects. And still, if you'll have something to comment on, you can freely do that. But thank you, Nelda, and we're going to come back for some issues also later regarding the projects. But let's talk about it from the practical side, and dear Professor Tatiana Volkova. So, do Erasmus Plus KA2 program projects help to build the abilities, portfolio, and career opportunities of university researchers? And can you feel it in your daily work? And maybe you have some comments.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think the question is very relevant, and we see already from the output which was presented by different speakers, that there are already research going on and good publications, and also research regarding the impact of Kabada tool, for example, on the students, on society in large. And I think this is a big potential for further research as well to be developed. So the short answer is yes, such kind of projects facilitate research, and we are happy to see those results. But for the future, project itself could be object for research for further young researchers. And I think here we saw that many committed colleagues came together, and they will be, I hope, willing also to participate in further research. What could be the subjects of research of such projects? For example, we can learn also how project management, how efficient, effective it was. For example, we can learn from mistakes, what have been made, and what could be maybe good ideas to avoid in the future. And this is really a good platform for empowering young researchers, and not only young researchers, but also students to be involved with, and I would say definitely yes.
Thank you. If you have some comments, maybe.
Okay.
Ines Mavliuto, Professor,
Yes,
please also.
Yes, first of all, I would like to say thanks to our colleagues, to guests for coming, due to I'm a partner, a member of this project. And yes, actually, I think now in our school, in BA School of Business and Finance, in our institution, and also in organizations involved, other partners right now understand the essence of K2 Erasmus Plus projects, and also how such kinds of projects affects to study process and to research. And I think my colleagues also can share with the experience, and further I would like to say more precisely about different types of researchers within project frames.
Thank you. And we have unique opportunity because a lot of professors are willing and are the ones who are capable of participating in high-level projects. And also we have opportunity that Professor Dzintra atstāja in connection with digital, has a lot of experience also, and wanted to ask, are the projects such as Erasmus Plus KA2 program projects suitable for building capacities to qualify for higher level research or research and development cooperation projects? And also, if you may comment, are these types of projects classified as an instrument for building higher excellence, for example, in research and development, with the expectation that their implementation will contribute to participation in programs of a framework such as Horizon in Europe? Can you please share your experience?
Thank you for this opportunity. Of course, today it's very important to speak about our success stories, because the main keywords what we want to say are sustainability, friendship, cooperation, and collaboration. And I would like to take attention that we are started with students' research works, with applied research works, with small research grants internal in the BA School of Business and Finance. And today I would like to thank our rectors and our management, because they are supported our research works in the all stages and in the all levels. And this was the good opportunity to start to work in not only in Erasmus Plus projects, in Nord Plus projects, in Norway grants, and today we have a good staff of research, as Professors Tatiana Volkova said and Ines Mavlyutova. We are ready to collaborate with different institutions and build our network for high-level projects in different levels in Europe and Horizon, as you mentioned before. And this is a very good opportunity for small school as BA School of Business and Finance, that we have a lot of friends around the world. In all countries, we have friendship and opportunity to work by new project proposals and to show our research experience and to share our research experience with other researchers, with other professors, and to make new ideas to build our scientific excellence and sustainability of previous projects. All our projects today are connected, and this is a very good opportunity, step by step, to develop new ideas and continue previous works. I think this is the best scenarios for our school to continue in the next level of research work.
Thank you. Thank you for inspiring words. And since we heard a lot of hashtag words like cooperation and friendship, I will use opportunity to ask our partners of BA School of Business and Finance, Associated Professor Luisa Carvalho, to actually tell how do the partners of BA evaluate the perspective of research cooperation after the end of such a project? And is it true that there's a friendship and cooperation and communication in place?
Hello, nice to see you here from Portugal. Kindly regards for all of you. And thanks for the words. I think that what Dzintra said about cooperation and friendship, it's the key words. Our school here in Portugal, we are partners from BA School since a lot of years. I don't know how much years, but a lot of years. We have been students that going to Erasmus Plus mobility, and also different projects and research. And this path that we do it together, it was, I think, very win-win for all of us. do the possibility to cooperate, to internationalize our institutions, and also to develop research in cooperation. We are partners now in two KA Erasmus Plus projects with BA. And we develop publication, research, other type of outcomes, such as Kabada tool. We will have another tool for the digital project. So we are very happy to cooperate with you and able to do it in the future, of course. And I think that this possibility bring new ways to think, because in my perspective, it's not possible to have quality teaching without research. So we can do it together and improve the quality of our research, and in the same way develop new strategies, more focus in the profile of the new students that wants different things, more digitalization, more issues related with sustainability, entrepreneurship, etc. So we are very happy with this cooperation and participation.
Thank you very much. We're also, as I remember, Professor Latvian Volko said, there cannot be too much intellectual opportunities in actually academic opened world. And maybe you can give some comments, because we see institutions merging, or maybe sometimes they say there's too much researches and maybe too much intellectual talks or projects, and what are their practical values. But I remember you were saying that it cannot be too much if we wisely use it, and maybe you have some thoughts about it and can explain it from your perspective.
Yes, thank you, Eduards, and thank you, colleagues, for really highlighting this very important topic nowadays, research. But we know that research itself doesn't matter. We have to measure impact, what this research is bringing. And this world is changing so rapidly, and we really don't have enough power and don't have enough hands to deliver this research, and intellectual capacity needs to be strengthened. But we are focusing currently on measuring research outcomes, counting publications and Hirsch indexes. And I would like to say that currently in Europe, there is consortium who created agreement on evaluating research performance, so that there is a reform currently going on, at least preparation stage, that it's much broader than rather to publish those scientific papers and to evaluate such, like, for example, activities of researchers, participation in the projects, in conferences, in bringing students alongside what this project demonstrates, bringing new researchers into activities, supervising those young researchers, and so on. And very important, it's also to follow that this research is ethical. And what Erasmus Plus KA projects are very specific, that it cooperates with an industry, and we know that other partners are important, that it's exchange of ideas, and we listen each other and facilitate research also by companies done, and NGOs and consultancy companies, that this building better world, it's our common responsibility. That's why it's never enough intellectual capacity, and there is a big group, still so many topics being not investigated yet.
Thank you for inspirational words for further research and actual necessity for this. And now we can view a technical part. And since we have State Education Development Agency representative and expert Nelda Mikanova, we wanted to get back to the technical side. And there are some questions that at the level of leading organizations and national coordinators, are Erasmus Plus cooperation projects primarily viewed as a free choice of the project submitters themselves, meaning that they can choose it in order to shape their growth? assuming that the emphasis is placed on projects as a tool in the implementation of the organization's strategic goals and tasks? Or are Erasmus Plus cooperation projects also evaluated as a supporting tool in the implementation of various policies like digitalization of education, internationalization, innovation capacity, research capacity, and international importance? Can you please comment and describe from an evaluation point?
Thank you. Yes, Erasmus Plus program is definitely a supportive tool in the implementation of strategic goals and tasks of organizations, and of course in implementation of various policies. If we talk about key action to Erasmus Plus cooperation projects, Erasmus Plus increases support for projects that foster cooperation and exchange of practices, allowing key actors to make better use of new technologies, develop innovative teaching, training, and learning methods, promote this non-formal learning, and develop common tools and activities. In cooperation projects and policy development activities, organizations gain experience in this international cooperation, strengthen their capacities, produce innovative approach, exchange this good practice and network, and of course, what to do in project, what is the main idea, tasks and outcomes. It is a free choice of project applicants, but of course, the program provides the main directions and priorities which must be followed when developing this project application. European Commission sets some common priorities and objectives to be pursued at the level of the Erasmus Plus program in different fields of education, training, youth, and sports. Therefore, of course, there is another these priorities in educational field. But if we talk about these priorities, what is very important when all of applicants is giving to us these applications, there is 4 general priorities, called as horizontal priorities. It's inclusion and diversity. That means that the program needs to be very open to everyone, and the aim is to improve improving the outreach to people with favor opportunity. This is green course, of course, digital transformation, and as we heard about this project Kabada, it's too is about this digital transformation too. And the last one priority is common values, civic engagement, and participating. As I said, in addition to these general priorities, there is a sector-specific priorities. For example, for higher education, if we talk, it is stimulating innovative learning and these teaching practices, rewarding excellence in learning, teaching, and skills development. So, as you see, this Erasmus program is very wide and open for everyone. There is open opportunities to increase the capacity of organizations, and there is a possibility to implement even a national policy level issues. For example, this year, the European Commission has set one more important priority. It is supporting higher education institutions in their cooperation with Ukrainian counterparts to respond to the war in Ukraine. So it's, as you see, it's not only organizations level problem, but it's a wide problem. So that means that all what to want to do this project applicant, it is free choice how to implement and what to do. Program is open for everything, and even for the most craziest ideas. Sometimes some of applicants saying, oh, our idea is very bad, or maybe it's too crazy. But when they get this funding budget, we see that the results and outcomes is very great and so interesting. So, and this organizations who cooperate to each other after projects telling only the best words. And as you see, Erasmus program is definitely very supportive tool for everyone, organizations, or it is or at a national level. It is a really good tool.
Thank you for explaining. It means we can now today say that crazy ideas are also welcome.
Yes.
And I remembered the quote that actually there are people who are willing to change the world, and sometimes with the crazy ideas, and hopefully the good ones. And if we take a look, eventually, probably they are the ones who actually do change the world by trying. And now it's like open questions. Anyone who is willing to comment on the ideas, development, or maybe execution part on it. Maybe Professor Luisa Carvalho does have something to say, or anyone can add, and you can bring some questions and discuss with their experts today here. So anyone willing to comment on?
More about the development of the projects and the implementation of ideas. I think that the possibility, we have multicultural teams from different countries. It's a huge opportunity to innovate and bring new opportunities for research, for cooperation, to learn, of course. Sometimes we must to learn to be more flexible, but we take a lot of opportunities, such as in research. The fact we have different countries, we could, as we made, for instance, with some colleagues that are there from Kabada, we collect data in different countries and we develop research in a comparative perspective. So I think that of course that sometimes we have some difficulties, but we can overcome these difficulties, and at the end all of us gain with this cooperation.
Thank you very much.
As a participant of this project, I would like to tell thanks to Professor Luisa Carvalho and also our colleagues from academia parts. And yes, now we can be proud with the results, with our outcomes. And for example, in cooperation with Luisa and Luisa colleagues, we have published several, I think 4 articles, and one of them is in high reputed Scopus journal, Entrepreneurship and Sociology. It is from Q2 level, yes, so it's actually very huge success. And what about others outcomes of in field of research in frames of Kabada project? I think actually this project showed that it's actually construction of some bridge starting from the beginning of the project till the end of the project. When we start to see on possibilities to write application, it was necessary to conduct some initial research, and also we investigated academic sources, the scientific articles, and provided surveys in different countries. And the results after that were published in different publications, and also we participated at scientific international conferences with presentations. But it was just the starting point, and I think it was something like a trigger for further development of research direction within this project. And we received foundation, and it was possible to also to spend money for participation at the conferences and for article publishing. And for example, how, as Professor Tatiana Volkova said, how to evaluate the research results. For example, for our members of this project, now Hirsch index in Scopus, they are starting from 6 to 3. I think our researchers and academicians understand what does it mean. So it's quite high level, and we received this level within 3 years. It's actually great result, I think. And also it's not the final point. We go further. And one of our colleagues is almost ready to defend his PhD thesis on a topic related to Kabada. So as you see, there are very, very many and different outcomes, a wide range of different outcomes. So it's more than 20 presentations at different levels of scientific conferences. It's also, as I count, it's more than 10 articles published in, and mostly these articles are published in Scopus database. So, but we are going further, and yes, and we will report it maybe in half of year or in a year, next year, about our final results. Thank you.
If I
Thank
may,
you.
yes.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Molotova. Especially you highlighted that we are going further, but let's talk about future based on this further thinking. Might, on the basis of this consortium members, it's possible to create some research alliance, ongoing research alliance, which you working together and to set up priorities for your future research independently. That project is over, but networks and and good friendship should remain. And of course, such alliance could be expanded by other partners from Africa, from Asia, which like Anata Kivrinya mentioned, that we do have partners. Such a kind of project in which we participated at the Bangkok School, it's a CRANET, and there are members researching human resource management. There are researchers from over the world, and they are holding annual meetings, and they are gathering data for longitudinal studies and then publish jointly based on the survey data received, and also attending conferences and organizing those conferences by themselves. So it could be next level of quality, and also could result to the next level of research outcome. As we know, this research outcome is so now important for study programs accreditation, study fields accreditation, institutional accreditation, research institutes evaluation. And that's why this should be continued, and this network could be kept and could be self-facilitating for going on.
Thank you. Thank you very much for comments. And since we have 5 minutes remaining, maybe somebody is willing to ask some questions to experts here today. Small summary so far. Actually, we added 4 hashtag words. First was cooperation, friendship, research excellence, and crazy ideas. So this is a sum up so far. Maybe you have some questions, people who are all connected online or here in auditory. Yes, Mr. Giovanni.
Just to react to the last words, very interesting. When you talk about alliance, of course, I think the alliance with the vet sector and the alliance with the industry also. So I was taking in mind when you said Africa, for example, we have some ministries that are partner of the network and wish to be involved. I'm thinking to the Ministry of Education in Nigeria, the Ministry of Education in Madagascar. So we are open to put you and each other in contact and to support the new partnership. And then for industries, for example, we have now another important initiative within the network that is to understand which skills coming from the advanced manufacturing sector, the digital skills and for technologies that can be moved in the area of crafts. So this is also a sort of industry that we want to promote. Is not an industry in itself, but is like a tourism, is also an industry for volume in Italy, for example. So for business volume. And in this regard, we are open also to think how to use the Kabada tool and to implement a transition in this sector to support entrepreneurial learning, because many of these activities are run by individual workers that are entrepreneurs, small, very individual entrepreneurs. And it's very important for them to develop business ideas and business plan. And also this research could help to understand how we can support this transition to a more conscious business in this regard.
Thank you. And I think in the auditoriums there are many colleagues who are listening carefully, and thank you for your proposal. And of course, we will come back to you, but we will see that there are many crazy ideas, not so crazy. Madagascar, it's so far, but from digital, you know, distance, it's very short. But what we have not to forget, it's about seniors entrepreneurship, so silver economy development. So there is opportunity based on such a tool. There are also, like in my age, we use computers, and I think still our seniors who plus for 10 years they will be able to use Kabada tool for creating this business for seniors, which is underdeveloped in our countries and very, very needed. So there are many focus groups which we can focus on.
Thank you. Yes, so it looks like our discussion came to an end. Final encouraging words from experts to sum up, because it looks like we'll have a lot to talk about, discuss, to research and to cooperate together. And luckily, thanks to the platform and the support from all stakeholder institutions, it will be possible. And if there are no more comments, we want to say thank you to Nelda Mikanov from State Education Development Agency, Associated Professor Luisa Kagica Carvalho, Professor Dzintra Atstāja, Professor Inesa Mavļuta, and Professor Tatjana Volkova. Thank you for a valuable discussion here today and encouragement for research and education. Thank you.
And thank you, Eduards, for moderating.
Thank you. That was technical part. Thank you. And we are continuing with roundtable discussion. And roundtable discussion, Kabada principles applied to the future of education, Skillman Alliance Summit. And moderator is going to be Giovanni Crisonà. So we welcome you back. And for 40 next minutes, this is going to be the roundtable discussion. So feel free to participate. And also at 4 o'clock, we're going to have final conclusions and questions and answers.
Very good. I think we are going to be connected with Professor Haustein from Lincoln University. And can you move this, please? Thank you. And Professor Julian Enge from Ireland. Ciao, Julian is the president of IVETA Global. Please correct me, Julian, if this is not the right title that I have to use. I also say vice president of Warburg College. Your microphone is on? No, Urs. Okay. And we have here in the room with me, you already know my name. We have here Professor Ilse Brande from Ogre Technological School here in Ogre, close to Riga. And I would say that we are very happy to be here together. Last time we met in person in Cagliari during the Skillman International Forum. It was very exciting moment to work together. I'm going now to share my screen. Please be patient. Just a moment. I think I'm online in Zoom and I'm going now to start the sharing. So I will introduce this session using my slides for continuing from this morning. The last slide, if you remember, Urs and Julian, you were not connected, but I don't know if you were watching the presentation. So we ended this morning session with a slide that was resuming all the main tracks who say that the Skillman network is following together with the N network. During the presentation, we have seen which are the main important points for the N network. And thank you. And I have launched also our I would say main tracks, our most important, there is something wrong here. Okay. It's not working properly. It is? Okay, good. Okay, it's quite slow. Just a moment, because I have to move to the right slide. Please apologize. Seems that I'm not very good with these technologies, but I reached the result. So Ilse, Urs, and Julian, this is the last slide of this morning, in which I have introduced the main important points that we have in mind for the next stage, that is the 2023 Skillman International Forum that will be in September, end of September, most probably in Riga or in the surrounding of Riga. And this is the starting point for going on with our debate that is a continuation from Cagliari, Skillman International Forum, and then is something that we want to debate, because we have our colleagues at home that then will receive our conclusions and will elaborate their own ideas to bring in October the contributions to the international debate. So the Skillman initiative is various. It is not only this one, of course, but these are the hot topics. And I would like to talk about some of these topics, not all, of course, we don't have time. I will introduce the roundtable today, just going to one of these arguments that is linked to what we discussed today, because is something related to the digitalization of the education, TVET in particular we discuss in this moment, but we know that we also have many higher education institutions involved in our network. And in this regard, we will go through the digital credits. That is something that we are working on in the moment. So let me first give you a link. I would like also to have your help. If you can go to the Slido page number 3021 and 453, so you can access to the question and answer, or you can make some online comment during the whole duration, during the roundtable. So at the end of the roundtable, we will open the comments and we will see if there is someone of you interested to say something. So you can continue in this during the presentation. First aspect I would like to remark with this presentation to prepare the floor for the experts and the speakers, so is that we have to think to the future with the present in mind. This was one of the slides that I used in Cagliari, and this is the link with Cagliari. Going on with this, I would like to reflect on how we can go to the future with the present in mind, because we have good sentences, but we need also to be practical. We need to do something in concrete. And in this regard, I was saying in Cagliari that we need to move the learning accounts from institutions to individual. And this is the strategy that we have in mind as the Skillman Network for our members, to facilitate our members to do this change and to help the students to get their own learning values in a sort of account, an individual account. So to make this, we have the help of the European Commission, because the European Commission is investing in this regard, and we have the expert on microcredentials here, Urs from Lincoln University, Professor Urs Haustein, who will help us to understand better this point. So what is a digital signed credential? It's something that it doesn't exist in concrete. You cannot touch, but it's very important. It's a very big value, even if it is immaterial value. So it's a statement. And this statement is released by an institution. And this statement belongs to someone, so belongs to learners. A statement that provides proof of a learning achievement. So it's important when we talk about these credentials to understand that they have value for someone, are very important for the learners. And how we can move on with this idea to give to the learners their value is like to deposit some coin, some money in your bank account. So do not take the money in your institution, but give the money in the individual learning account. This is the challenge. And for this challenge, we have the decision taken by the European Commission in April 2018, so is already 5 years ago, to create a common framework for the provision of better services for skills and qualification that brought to define the new European digital credentials for learning infrastructure. And this is something that probably many of us didn't know at the time, and probably even now many of us are not fully aware about this idea that is citing the possibility to release these credentials to our learners. But it's very important, it's a pillar, it's something that we move on from. So it's something that has changed the panorama, because since that time, since 2018, the European Commission has started to develop this infrastructure, and then remarked in 2020 that this infrastructure is very important, and I would say for two most important aspects. One is that we need to work in the definition and the support of skills development all together, and in this regard, this was a mandate for the for having a common platform. This is a platform for digital infrastructure. And the other side, very important part, is to create pathways, learning pathways that can be matched with this infrastructure, with this framework. So we have to change something, because if we remain static, the two systems, our institutes, our systems in our institutes, and the digital infrastructure for certification will not fit. So we have to adapt something. And of course, there is one central system, is the one of the European Commission, and there are many systems. And the many systems have, first of all, to correspond to the to be compliant with the EQF approach, the EQF principles, and all these is something that we have to reflect on. And then, even in this regard, the member states were called by the European Union to change something, to adapt their own national systems to this digital infrastructure. And now I have some question for you, a question, not some, a question. I would like to know if you have ever talked about this new infrastructure of the European Union, or it is the first time, or you have some knowledge. So, do you know the European digital credentials for learning infrastructure, or is the first time that you are hearing this? So if you can go and vote. I see one participant rating. Oh, I have read about it. I have heard about it. So good. So other yesterday. Okay. This is also valid. Okay. I have heard about it. I did not know about the digital infrastructure and so. So my we have 8 answers, and probably first place is for not having heard before. So yes, 2, I have heard about it. Okay, we see that is not very large diffused. And so my idea is that this is not a very well-known information, but it's something that is very important, is very is bringing to a very strong change, very important change. But seems that even if the Commission is investing very much, there is no there are no many experts or many people that are aware about this. So I'm going now to a next slide that will help us, or people that have no knowledge about this new system, to understand better with some simple picture what the system is. So in few steps, your institute is called a credential issuer. So you release credits to your learners, and normally you release credits giving a certificate. This certificate normally, usually, is provided in paper, or can be a record in your files. but is not a digital credential. So what we think about that is a possibility that is given by this new infrastructure of the European Union. If you have an agreement with someone at a centralized level, it could be your Ministry of Education, for example, or could be the Skillman network that is called the issuer of the mandated issuer of the certificate into the European digital infrastructure. You can move this certification from paper to digital into the Europass system, because the EDCI is installed in the Europass system. So when you say Europass, you never you not talk anymore only about for example, the digital portfolio of an individual learner, but you are talking about something else. You are talking about a server that with the trust interaction can host this credential for the future with legal validity in Europe. This is a new system. There were the European Commission launched a piloting period, but of course the majority of institutions are not yet ready to go through this. And the Skillman network is working in this regard to give to its members the possibility to have this agreement and to pass the EQF standards check and to have the certificate sent to the European Commission server. This is what we have in mind, and we are working on this sealing role for helping our members all over the world to access to this service that then finally is provided with the contribution of the European Commission that has created the framework, the environment. So in sum, I have the new slide here, but I don't see the new slide here. I'm still connected. Yeah, very strange.
One question, slide though, but it's maybe for later.
Yeah, at the end we will read all the things. It's very strange now. Okay, sorry, no, it was not changing here. No, I have, okay, it works. I don't know why. So in sum, we have ingredients to make this working. We have the memorandum of understanding among the two entities. We have your individual institutions that have to respect standards, procedures, and can receive technical support to make this. And then we have the EQF check moment in which we need to see that these declarations respect our principles, the glue of the Skillman members, the glue that brings the Skillman members together. So we have ethical aspects. We know the ethical declaration of Skillman, in which we recognize the need to embed in the curricula the 17 goals of the sustainable goals of the United Nations. We have a set of skills pillars that we think important as a standard approach to the curricula design. We have the COVES principle for excellence, that are excellence for all, not leaving anyone behind, and so on. And then we have the TVET excellence, that is a meaning for us, defining an excellence not for the elites, but for all TVET providers. putting all these things together, we can collaborate and we can bring our members to implement this transition to the releasing of digital badges. So we can support transparencies of skills and qualification as it is stated by in the European Commission declarations and documents. So what are your targets in this list of Skillman proposals? I would say what we have discussed this morning. I said, okay, these are the end of the presentation. These are the topics. And now you have these topics here. I would like to have your reaction about your opinion about this, which are more important or less important for you. So then we will open the debate with the experts, and we will ask, for example, to first, I would like to ask to you, Professor Urs Haustein, some word on how we can link all these with the micro-credentials approach. I think it's quite easy to understand that without micro-credentials application, it could be difficult to implement this process of transition to the digital infrastructure, but okay, probably you have some more word to say about qualifications and so on. So during that we continue to see the votations. Please, Urs, you can take the floor, open your microphone and give your opinion and description of the topic. Micro-credentials in relation to digital badges and credits.
I think it's a very essential topic and possibility for the future. And what Skillman is doing here for the network, and Skillman is the network of the networks. What Skillman is doing here, mandated for their networking members and partners, is really something important for the future. We have the competencies and we have qualifications, and we need, of course, that what you perfect explained with this bank. The future is not the money. The future are the competencies and qualifications, because the competencies and qualifications are developing everything on values, and that can be as well at the end money. It's interesting. I have just spoken some months ago here in Riga on behalf of the evaluators of the ENIC-NERIC network, the recognition and accreditation network, about learning outcomes and impact in management and education for the future. Yes, I think the outcomes are not the final. I think the final should be the impact. And therefore, it is important, when you want to have a good impact, you need to have it documented, and you need to have it digital sealed. And these digital sealed certifications, diplomas, and maybe as well degrees are important. And when Skillman Network will be mandated, this will be possible from the micro-credentials, short courses, up to degrees and awards. Because at the end, everything needs to be digitally registered in banks, because our communication world in the future is digital. And therefore, we will really need it. Yes, I think very essential, and really the future of that, what we speak about, skills and competencies and qualifications.
Thank you, Urs. I think for starting is some good sugar for us. And I would like to pass now to Professor Brande. Ilse, okay, these are connected points, and we discussed yesterday at the Ministry of Education together how this can be deployed in the territory and at local level also, and which are the difficulties that we face, but which are also the strong points that we can put on the table. So what is your opinion, how we can combine these things that we are discussing, and of course how we can conserve the ideals we have and the wishes we have in a concrete manner in your daily work. So please let us to know what is your opinion in this regard.
Yeah, hello everybody. I am Ilse Brande, director of Ogre Technical School. And we have in our school 4 departments. It is forestry, woodworking and hunting department. It is design and art department. It is computer technologies, electronics and administrative work department. And it is our waiters and cooks department. And when I think about the digitalization, it is in 2 directions. The first direction, all our teachings materials today for our students is digital. We have, for example, for our students, these materials for learning separate in study time and in free time. And second direction, today, every harvester or forwarder in our forestry, how digital technologies, every electronics programs and equipment, how these digital possibilities. And we speak about the cooks and waiters, digital too. Yeah. It is impossible to be without the digitalization, and every vocational education school of Ministry of Education and Science write strategical development plan. And in this plan, we write that we will be the school that is the excellence and innovation center. It is our target 2027.
Yeah, I know, and then I would pass the floor to Julian, Professor Julian Gay from the IVETA Association. I know how much value there is in the work that you do, and I think it's not possible to do not remain impressed when we visit your school. And I know that you combine all these aspects, but this topic of the digitalization, as I said this morning, we have this track together with the N network. It's very important. It's fundamental. It's fundamental to move on. And when we discuss about how to digitalize or to make the VET green and so on. So I think is important to have clear ideas in the management approach that we need to put. And it's also important, as you do in your institute, for example, to have a strong commitment by the personnel, by the teachers. All these aspects, I think, are very familiar to you, Julian. Julian is an international expert in education. And I would like to have your feedback now to understand which are the points most important in your focus now as a IVETA Global Network, and which are, in your opinion, the aspect that we have to take care. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. Sveiki un labdien to all the Latvians present, and hello and good afternoon to everybody else. Thank you very much for inviting me to this panel. I think the answers that we see on the screen are very indicative of where we should be going in the future. And the answers of my fellow
panelists, Dr. Urs and Dr. Ilse, are also very, very apt. From my perspective as the head of the International Vocational Education and Training Association, we also work with a lot of developing nations. And so number 2 for me is a big priority: social inclusion and excellence for all. And whilst I think this project is amazing, I think a dimension we should be looking at exploring and also developing is for non-academic providers of micro-credentials. So what happens if you're a master artisan or craft maker? Like in Cagliari, we met with Dr. Elisa Guidi of the World Crafts Council. And what if you are a master carpenter and you have an apprentice working with you, not in a formal academic capacity, but they have learned some really excellent skills? How do their competences and their abilities get transferred onto this digital credentialing system? So that is a big challenge that I see, that we need to be inclusive to everybody and not just for academic providers that are on a government list, for example. The other thing that we need to look at is also not just becoming digitally able or competent for the sake of ticking a box, but how do we link these competencies to actually being productive members of tomorrow's society? So everything that we're learning has to have a clear lifelong learning outcome. So for me, these are key considerations in order to move the systems forward.
Thank you very much, Julian. I think that from the brainstorming, we are passing to be more concrete to understand better what we are talking about with your reactions. So, Urs, what's your head on this argument that you would put?
I'm totally behind that, what Julian said. And I want to mention to the participants today, now digital competencies are on the top, but don't think that is digital credentials. I think that's not the same thing. Digital competencies is not very, very strong or a very big thing. It's only to learn how to go digital. And the digital machines, tools, platforms will do it and will help us very, very quick to do that very easy. So people don't have to work with a computer and will be able to have digital competencies, in fact, because we are at the moment in the situation where we are digitalizing as well our audios or our videos, our developments with the muscles in the face. So everything will be very quick then digitalized, and they will help us to do so. So elderly people will be as well able to be in the digital world. But the digital credentials are important. Nowadays, you have your credentials at home in your treasure or on the bank, in a bank account. And the money is not important. That can burn down when the house is burning down. But the credentials shouldn't be, because that is a real money, like a check, a bar check, you know. And therefore, when we do have that as digital credentials, then we are very autonomous. Then we are much stronger, because we then can move without anything. We don't need a computer. The data are in the cloud. The knowledge is within us. And that's what we have done in the past. We have digital somewhere. So I think that is the future. And you said, Giovanni, micro-credentials. By gosh, that's not an academic thing only. that is as well for the vocation education world
Absolutely.
and for all others. As you said, and as Julian as well mentioned, and I want to mention in Sardinia, we had a very good keynote from Dr. Craig Marsh about the ivory towers of the old universities and the change of education nowadays and the merge of the professional field and the academic field into a more impact successful field for the world in the future.
Well, I totally agree with your approach, Urs, and the similarity with the bank accounts, I think, is also for depreciation, because the skills can also become outdated, and you can have digital credentials that then send you to not a value, not the same value like in the past, because especially in such topics in digital, for example, skills, that is not the digital credentials at all, I agree. You can have skills that can become really outdated, totally outdated in short. But anyway, so this help to understand this system of credentials. And when you say this, I also get in mind the aspect of the two capacities. One is the capacity of individuals to acquire digital skills, and one is the capacity of organizations to release digital credits, digital badges. So these digital credentials arrive if the institutions change their settings and their workflow, because otherwise they will continue to make paper certificates, and maximum to deposit the certificates in some database that is not the trust system that we have with the European Commission. So we have the last 5 minutes. Before to move to Director Ilse Brande again, I would like to recommend you to look in the Slido tabs. In the top, you have question and answers available, and you can put your comments there. I only see one comment at the moment, so if you want to add something, because after the last point from Ilse, I will move on and we will see the rest of the comments that you have deposited online. Please, Ilse, your remarks.
I think that digitalization is one of quality assessment points, and it is our way to excellence and innovation center in vocational education.
Thank you. So it's time to go to some comment from the connected participants. And I would like to ask you, Julian, if you wish to do it, to make some remark on what we see here. So first is, could it be that in the future digital senior credentials or micro-credentials will replace necessity for bachelor or master degree? So please, Julian, if you want to make a comment on this.
I think really that is the way of the future, when, you know, we can look at a profession as a whole conglomeration of different competencies rather than just one set of prescribed competencies. This is the traditional model of education where we say, okay, to get this piece of paper, you must do A, B, C, D, E. And if you don't do that, then you don't get your piece of paper. So what if we are able to then create a more all-rounded approach to say, well, actually, you could have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And when you join everything together, then you have the right number of credits or skills or competencies in order to graduate with a larger qualification. I think for me, this is future thinking rather than trying to put everybody into a box.
Thank you very much. For me, it's a great idea to think about this because it's a revolution. It's a revolution. What you said, to do not think anymore to pre-configured packages of competencies that are given by the institutions, but to build your own certificate, to build your own path, learning path, and to have your individualized certification that is composed like a multicolor flag. Good. So probably Tatiana was already having the answer to this. It was not a question, it was like a sort of definition. And I think that she finds the agreement with many of the participants here. So the next one, Julian, can you also comment this?
You mean when we will have this important development?
Of course, yes.
Well, I think the answer to that is Skillman is one of the organizations that is leading in this field. So it's probably better for you to answer this question.
No, okay, but because we help our members, but I think that this question is more like to say, what is your opinion in which period the organizations will be able to interact with this matter? Because I think that many of the institutions that we represent are not aware and are not totally not ready to implement this drive and to go to the release of digital badges. And okay, last minute to close, one word from you, Julian, then Urs, and last sentence from Ilse, please.
Yes, I think that's probably right, that, you know, there needs to be expiry dates and stuff, because maybe something you learned 20 years ago might not be so relevant today. So you can have it as a record to say that the knowledge and skills that you learned 20 years ago are still recorded, but that they may need updating and stuff like that. And I love the idea that there will be transparency, and also there will be privacy and protection involved in all of this, because it is up to you to decide how you want to share this information with employers and other people.
Thank you very much. Urs, please, what are the parallel things with Apple, the wallet of Apple?
Yeah, I can say it is a parallelity, but maybe Skillman is not making the mistakes Apple is doing. So, but I want to say something else. The Bologna process in 2000 started, some years before initiated, is still not done. That means the change of education and the optimization and effectiveness of new education is still not realized. And it hangs together with things like self-evaluation and peer evaluation. As long as we don't have a self-evaluation system accepted and recognized, and we are steered by outside, by schools or high schools, you know, not a school, it's a high school. As long that we will not have impacts. And we need really to to base take that more and more. And therefore, I think it is very important. And please, Skillman Network, do as much what you can do to go ahead with this.
Thank you very much, Urs. So, your last word.
Thank you very much for possibilities to be in Skillman Network, and every time how new ideas for development, vocational education. Thank
you very much. So, big applause for our experts. Please, thank you. I think that now we have to say goodbye and see you at SIF 2023, that most probably will be here again in Riga. Thank you very much. Thank you, Urs. Thank you, Julian. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for really valuable discussions, ideas spread, tools introduced, and also conclusions. So this is the part where it is possible to wrap up. And if you still have some questions, people online or here in auditory, this is a good time to ask, since we're all here together. Maybe you have some questions for the leading experts and everyone participating in the project now. Looks like we had a lot of valuable discussion and questions already talked, but yeah, this is an opportunity to say some words if somebody still wants to say something. Oh, okay, very good. And closing words and final conclusions. We have a question. Thank you very much for a precious discussion. Yes, we're going to also finalize the event today. And from my side, I want to say thank you for your endurance and optimism and positive attitude regarding cooperation. This is what unites. So let's stay in touch. Remember, cooperation, friendship, crazy ideas, and research excellence. And the final words needs to be said by a project leader, some conclusions and the goodbyes. And from my side, I want to say everyone, thank you and see you in touch. But project leader will put a small dot or comma or maybe something else. Jānis?
Okay, thank you very much, Edwards, for giving me again this floor and say some nice words at the end. First of all, thank you for your participating here, for being here during whole day. Somebody maybe participate not whole day, but anyway, thanks for everybody who participate in any parts. I hope so everybody catch something from our experience. We are inspiring also others. Okay, there is lots of people who are doing projects, but by the way, and what I can conclude at the end, because we are going to official finalizing our project. There's just few steps left, like final reports and just few touches for few outcomes. Erasmus Plus calls are open. Think about crazy ideas and try to write your proposal. Maybe not with the first one, but with second attempt, third one, you also succeed. And this is a great opportunity actually. And I like those keywords: friendship, crazy things, cooperations, publications, and use our tool actually. If you have business idea, you know where you need to go. We can help you. We can help you to understand better things which you need to do in the second part of your life. Thank you.